So for example, if I roll out a policy that says no TikTok ever at work, how does that impact my employees? Do they want to, do they want to be on TikTok, or is that going to impact someone in a negative way? So I'm always thinking about, how if I do something, how it's going to have an impact, or if I have a problem, how do I solve it?
Hey guys, before I start, I just want to say thank you so much to those who support my channel. I'm so excited to make more videos, and if you're new to this channel, my name is Janet. Welcome to Janet Asks, and if you're a high schooler like me who struggles in figuring out what you want to do with your career life, then this channel is for you because I'll be interviewing people of all different occupations, and hopefully that can help you guys understand the career path a little bit more and help you figure out which career is best for you. So if you're interested, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for today's special guest because not only is she very skilled at her job, she's also a strong advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is something that I am deeply passionate about as well. And her job is needed in almost any company. So I think knowing and learning about this job will be very beneficial for all of you. And this job is kind of like the bridge of a company because it helps establish almost all of the relationships that go on in the company, which is very important for a company to be functionable and for it to work well. And my special guest works in the Department of HR, and HR stands for Human Resources, and she actually works in a branch under that HR umbrella, and she works as an HRBP or an HR business partner in the company called Earning. So let's all welcome Tamia. Hi Tamia, it's so great to meet you. How have you been?
I am great. It's wonderful to meet you. I'm so happy that you are extending the invitation to have me here. So hope that you are well.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming here on Janet Asks. And yeah, are you ready to get started?
I'm so ready. So ready.
Okay, so first off, I gave a brief description about it in my introduction, but can you just elaborate a little bit more about what exactly HR is and what their roles are in a company?
Yes. So HR, human resources, it's actually like a lot more than what people think. And it's a lot more buckets than people think that there are. So what human resources does in short is that they take care of the people of the organization. And so there's a lot of different ways that people require support, but that's generally speaking what HR does. That could be so many different things, and that could be like training and onboarding. That could also be like learning and development. That could be the day-to-day issues that we come across, like, hey, attendance, or just employee morale, and so there's a lot of different things that go into HR and what encompasses HR.
Yeah, that's very cool. Not many people think about it, but it's so important for a company to make sure that everyone gets along, and I really like that. And just like in schools, like we have team projects, so we have to do similar things. And so let's start from the beginning of your career journey. So can you walk through briefly how did you become an HR business partner, starting from your college experience?
Yeah, so I actually just talked to my mom about this today, and I was telling her that I was coming to talk to you. And she's like, did you get into HR? Because I'm in HR. So for purposes of this video, I'm going to tell you that I got into HR because my mom is there. But that's not the reality. That's not the reality. The reality is that I actually stumbled into HR. I majored in English in college, and I had every intention of going to law school. And that was what I was going to do, was go and be an attorney and argue for a living, because I am the oldest of five and I argue with my siblings. So I'm like, I can do this for a living. And so law school didn't pan out because of financial resources. And so it actually got to a point where I was like, okay, well, what do I do? And that's when I was at that time, I had a temporary job and I transitioned into HR at that time. I took on an HR coordinator role, and that was my start in HR. And so, that was the entry. And since then, I've held various roles within HR. That's why I said people think it's just one thing, like we hire and fire people. Like there's so many different things that we do. So I've done a lot of that. I've hired, I've recruited, I've done the administrative work of HR, like all of the systems that need to be updated. But now I'm more strategic. So now I'm working with the business and helping them to position their resources so that they can accomplish their goals.
That's very interesting. As a junior getting ready for college, I always believe that I worry that I have to like choose a major that will be definite in what I do. But based on your story as well, a lot of stories I've heard in my other interviews, that's not always the case. And I think when you put it like that, it's a lot more comforting to people who I know, like other juniors that probably have the same worry that I do. And you kind of discussed this already, and I was about to ask you why you chose to major in English, because I know a lot of HR people or people working in the HR would choose like something like psychology, but it seems like you answered that question. And but like, how do you think your major actually helped you in your career as an HR business partner?
Such a wonderful question. And actually, I think to your point, there are a lot of HR business. There's a lot of HR business partners, just members of the HR profession that do major in psychology because it is extremely helpful. And in hindsight, it would have probably been extremely helpful for me to major in psychology. But I chose English, and although I was choosing it for law school, it actually has helped me to be more analytical, and be a better communicator. And so I think that the English degree itself has helped me to be able to really connect with people, really to understand, their communication styles, to kind of figure out how I need to best communicate with them to get, our points across. And it's just made me actually be a better listener. So I think one of the biggest aspects of my role right now is to be able to listen and comprehend and really tease out what the root cause of something or what the question that's really being asked. And so I think that my English degree has helped me to be able to be a better communicator, better listener, and overall a better HR professional.
Wow, I've never thought how much English might help with that. Like, I mean, it's a good point. I just never thought about it like that. Um, Based on what you're telling me about the HR department, it all sounds like a lot of fun and very fascinating. But what is your favorite part about being an HR business partner, and what do you think teenagers or kids my age would find appealing about your career?
Oh gosh, to be your age, what are you most excited about? I have to think back a little far, okay? I think what I love the most about HR are the people that I support and the relationships that I'm able to build. That is one of the best aspects of my job. I speak to so many people every day. I have such great relationships with people that I've never even met in person, because of how much we've had to partner together. And so that has, for me, been like the most fun aspect of my job. And I think that when I look at our generation today and like kind of what they are interested in, I look at them as being like innovators and being able to have an impact. And I think that's where HR comes into play, is that you have the ability to make an impact, you have the ability to change people's lives, you have the ability to really just like help people get from point A to point B, by just being just being connected and just having those conversations. And so I know that a lot of my younger friends really want to figure out how they can make an impact on the world, and what's better than making an impact through the lives of others. And I think that's kind of where HR fits in.
Yeah, I think that idea of innovation is pretty appealing to a lot of people my age. But to me, I'm also a person that likes communicating with people and interacting with them. So in that sense, that sounds pretty appealing to me. And however, for like any job, I'm sure there are stressful and difficult sides to it. So what are some of the more like difficult parts of your job as an HRBP?
Yeah, there's definitely stressful parts.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
There's a tremendous amount of things to do. And it goes along the same lines as to the things that I like, which are the fact that I can have an impact on people. That's kind of the things that are also stressful, as that I can have an impact on people. That's also not necessarily in the most positive light. So for example, if I have someone who is not doing their job and doing their job well, and I've been trying to work with them, then ultimately I may have to, decide to part ways with them from a company that I'm in.
Mhm.
And so that's hard. That's not something that I ever enjoy. That's not something that I ever want to do. And so that's why I really try to work through those situations to helping those people so that we can avoid those situations. So I would say there's besides the workload, sometimes there are long days, long nights, but there's also times when I have to have more of a negative impact on people, and those are the times where I do find myself a lot more stressed, and really looking to try to avoid by doing as much as I can to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, that does sound difficult. I mean, communication in general could be a difficult thing. And yeah, to get to know your career a little better, I think it'll be interesting to know what a typical day of an HR business partner looks like. So can you please explain like roughly what you do in a job in your job in daily basis?
Yeah. And no day looks the same, Janet. No
Yeah.
day looks the same. Every day is so different. Um, and so it really just depends. Like I try to look at my week and figure out what are my objectives? What do I need to accomplish? And it's also seasonal. So for example, right now I'm in the midst of performance reviews. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing in terms of reading through reviews, providing feedback, going through like the behind the scenes planning process, analyzing new promotions, new merit increase amounts. Like it's a lot of things that go behind the scenes. So that's a seasonal aspect, because that takes up months of my year. It takes up months. But I am also in I also own diversity inclusion at Earnin. And so I also do a lot of projects. And so right now, for example, it's Black History Month. So I'm doing a lot of things for Black History Month, like having conversations about how to join the fight for racial equity and social justice. And so there's a lot of projects that are always ongoing. So from day to day, I'm probably in at least 8 or 9 meetings about those projects, or working with the business, or advising managers. And then I also just, sometimes just have times with my managers to just check in and say, hey, how are you? What can I do for you? So a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations, but a lot of projects as well that are pretty fun.
Yeah, that does sound like a lot, like every day. But like yeah, as you said, it does sound like it could be fun too. So, what are some of the most important skills you think that someone needs to have in order to become an effective HR business partner in any company?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the first one is to be an effective communicator, because I think that's the basis of everything that we do, is communicating to our businesses, communicating to our managers, communicating to our employees. So you want to make sure that you effectively communicate whatever it is that you're talking about, so you can make sure that that person hears and understands you. I think the other is to be like strategic and to really think about what impact that you're having on someone. So for example, if I roll out a policy that says no TikTok ever at work, how does that impact my employees? Do they want to, do they want to be on TikTok, or is that going to impact someone in a negative way? So I'm always thinking about, how, if I do something, how it's going to have an impact, or if I have a problem, how do I solve it? And so that takes a little bit of strategic thinking to accomplish. And I think the other thing is to really kind of roll with the punches, like not take things too seriously. HR can be stressful. I personally laugh all the time. Those who work with me know, like, I'm always going to joke, I'm always going to laugh, just because you want to build relationships. You want to build relationships, and you build relationships by building those authentic connections where people feel like they can trust you, they can, really work with you. And so I think it's just about being flexible and just knowing, like, things are going to come. It's okay. We're going to get through it together.
I like all those skills. I think those just sound like very important in your job, like being a good communicator, being strategic, and being able to not let loose, but like like
Let loose is okay.
okay,
Let loose is okay.
or like not take, as you said, not taking everything too seriously. I think that all makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And on another note, just like you, I'm a huge advocate for diversity and equity. And as you said, you manage that in Earning. And in my channel, I also try to include professionals from different industries and different cultures and backgrounds. And in the business and technology industry, um, I don't. I don't think African Americans and women aren't represented as much. So can you explain your experience as an African American woman working in the business and technology industry, and what advice do you have for other people of the underrepresented minorities who want to work in this industry?
Yeah, this is such a beautiful question. And I'm so glad that you asked me this question. Jenna, to be perfectly honest, so prior to working in tech, I worked in a lot of industries. And I can tell you that my experience being an African American woman in tech has been so positive. It's been so extremely positive. That I just had this conversation yesterday in a meeting where I was thanking people for allowing me to feel so comfortable being who I am, and being an African American woman in tech. And so I will tell you that there's other industries where I've had pretty traumatic experiences, where I've had to feel like I wasn't valued just simply because of the color of my skin, that my perspective wasn't going to be heard because of the color of my skin. So to come here and to have that opportunity to be welcomed, to be appreciated, it's so heartwarming, and it has changed my life, honestly. So for those that are looking to get into tech, I think it's just a matter of leveraging your network. I think that we want to build more representation for underrepresented communities within tech. So leverage your connections. If you are on LinkedIn, try to see who's there, who may be in your company, who may be able to make an introduction for you. Don't be afraid to go to conferences where you can network and find and learn more about those people that are in those companies that you want to be in. And so I think that's kind of like your starting point. But in general, like I said, it's tech is really taking diversity, equity, and inclusion very seriously. And so you can see that in the people that they are in, the cultures that they're trying to foster, that they're more inclusive, that they're more dedicated to making sure that everyone, no matter what race, gender, ethnicity, nationality that you are, feels included. And I personally have felt that way, and I'm tremendously grateful.
Yeah, your advice was very good too, and I think it's wonderful that you said that you had a relatively positive experience in the tech industry, and I think that's very helpful for many others that want to go into that industry. And every career changes within a few years. Like every industry changes within a few years, especially business and technology. So how do you see the HR department changing in the next few years, and how do you think our generation can help or improve or change anything about the HR field or the business and technology industry in general?
Yeah, I think that we in HR are leaning more on data analytics to help us make more informed business decisions. And I think that we're looking to our younger generations to help us to learn more about how we can automate, how we can incorporate more technology into the things that we do. I think there's still a level of like administrative responsibility that we have within HR that we would love to be able to say, like, with the click of a button, this is done. And so that takes a lot of like behind the scenes macros and excels that just automate and do things on our behalf. And that is such a valuable skill set because those things take a lot of time currently, and those are things that we could, if they could be automated, we wouldn't have to spend so much time on it. So I see HR in general going a lot more digital, really trying to incorporate more technology to help us make better business decisions. But I see us still remaining like, the people that you interact with. We still want you to feel like you have a person to that supports you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I think like communication ways to be more like automated, as it said, it will make communication faster and everything in the company go a lot smoother probably. And so yeah, and we're on the final question, and you've been amazing. I think all of your advice and what you've said have been very helpful. But if you can give any final advice or words of encouragement for high schoolers or college students who are interested in becoming an HR business partner or working in the department, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would tell them to go for it. And I would tell them to, not be afraid to reach out to their HR department. So if they have like local, like summer jobs, spend some time with their HR teams, learn more about what they do, learn more about how they can get involved and see what interests them. And I would also encourage them to know that HR is there's so many different buckets that they don't just have to like, I within HR, I interact with people all the time, but there's people in HR that interact with systems all the time and they don't really interact with people. And so there's so many different ways that you can get involved and you can really build a career in HR. And so if you have questions, just let us know. Let us know. There's plenty of HR professionals that are more than happy to, hop on a call and talk to you about exactly what it is that they do. And so do not be afraid to say, hey, I'm interested and I want to learn more. And we will be very happy to tell you about what it is that we do. So go for it, leap and be the best HR that you can be. And just know that there's the HR profession as a whole. We're very patient people. We have to be, and so there's a lot of things that as you're building your competencies within HR, there's a lot of people that you'll have to support you to getting ultimately to the place that you would like to end up. So
Yeah, that's a very good advice. And yeah, thank you so much for educating me and my channel about your job. In the beginning, I knew not that much about the job, but thanks to you, I've learned so much, and you made me think of maybe choosing this career as a possible possible career choice. And yeah, please continue to advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion. I really like that too. And yeah, I hope you have a good day. Thank you so much.
thank you so much, Janet, for having me. And, like I said, don't be anybody watching this, please don't hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you want to learn more about HR and what we do, I am always happy to hop on a call, hop on a Zoom meeting, etc. So
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a lot from Tamia about being an HRBP. I think it is a very fascinating job because, as I said before, establishing all those important relationships in a company is very important because it's a key factor that helps make a company work properly. And I think Tamia's career journey is a very good example that shows you that the college major that you chose doesn't have to define your career life entirely. And as you can see from Tamia, she chose um, to major in English to get into law, but instead she became an HRBP, which wasn't exactly what she planned, but it's okay because she's still successful, and she's still, as you can hopefully tell, she's still very passionate about the job that she chose. So I think a lot of us can learn from that. And yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to follow more updates and just rant about anything, uh, you can follow my Instagram. I will definitely check all my DMs. And yeah, so if you like this video, please share it with your friends, your family, and people you know. And also comment down below what other careers you want me to check out or want me to interview and learn about. So yeah, I hope you have a nice day. Thank you so much. Bye.